Right, let's get one thing straight. Fighter jets aren't just toys for generals with big moustaches. They are, in fact, incredibly important. Think of them as the nation's angriest guard dog. A very, very fast guard dog with missiles. For a country like Canada, which is frankly enormous and mostly empty, you need something that can get from one end to the other without stopping for a poutine. This isn't just about blowing things up, you understand. It's about showing the world you have a stick. And it's a very pointy one. It's about sovereignty. About being the boss of your own massive chilly backyard. Now, Canada has been flying the same jets for what seems like 1,000 years. The old CF-18 Hornets. Good planes in their day. Brilliant even. But that day was back when your dad was still cool. Today they are tired. They are creaky. The aviation equivalent of a grandfather's knees. So, the decision to replace them is a big one. It's like choosing a new engine for the entire country. Do you go for something big and loud and American? Or something clever and European? This choice tells everyone from Washington to Moscow what kind of country Canada plans to be for the next 50 years. And it's not just about scaring off nosy bombers from across the North Pole. So, what is this Gripen thing that has got everyone in Ottawa so excited? Well, it's a fighter jet, a very clever one. It comes from Sweden, a country known for sensible furniture, excellent pop music, and not getting into fights. The Saab Gripen E, the one Canada is buying, is their latest and greatest creation. It's not the biggest jet on the playground, it's not the fastest, but it might just be the smartest. Think of it not as a heavyweight boxer, but as a nimble, lightning-fast martial artist. It's designed to be brilliant, not just big. This deal has been brewing for years. Canada's search for a new fighter was an epic saga of delays and arguments. They looked at everything. They flirted with the American F-35, a jet so advanced and expensive it might as well be from another planet. They considered the Super Hornet, a solid, dependable American pickup truck of a jet. But then, in a stunning move, they announced a deal with Saab. The plan is to buy 88 of these Swedish jets, with the first ones arriving in a few years. It's a multi-billion-dollar handshake that links Canada not to its noisy neighbor, but to a quiet, clever country across the Atlantic. Why now? Because they had to. The newspapers will tell you this was a simple competition. The best jet won. Rubbish. That's never how it works. There were enormous pressures on Canada, silent forces pushing and pulling the decision in every direction. The biggest one, of course, was America. The United States is not just Canada's neighbor, it's its big brother, its landlord, its main sparring partner. Washington wanted and expected Canada to buy an American jet. It's good for business. It makes military cooperation much, much simpler if everyone is using the same kit. Then there's the economic pressure. We're not just talking about the sticker price of the jets. We're talking about industrial and technological benefits. Build some of the bits in our country. This means jobs. High-tech, well-paying jobs in Montreal. High-tech, well-paying jobs in Vancouver. The F-35 program was a bit vague on these promises. Saab, on the other hand, came to the table with a brilliant offer. They basically said, buy our jets and we'll help you build your own aerospace industry. That's a very tempting carrot to dangle in front of any politician. Militarily, the pressure was all about the Arctic. The North is Canada's vast frozen crown, and it's becoming a hotspot. Russia is building bases up there. China is calling itself a near-Arctic state. Behind every big government contract, there's a war you don't see. A war fought not with missiles, but with briefcases, fancy dinners, very persuasive PowerPoints. The fight to sell Canada its next fighter jet was an absolute epic. For years, the most powerful aerospace companies had their best people camped out in Ottawa. These are lobbyists. Their job is to make friends and influence people. They take politicians out for lunch. They sponsor local hockey teams. They whisper promises of jobs and investment into the right ears. It's a subtle, sophisticated game of chess. The American giants, Lockheed Martin, F-35, Boeing, Super Hornet, had a huge home field advantage. They've been selling planes to Canada for decades. Their connections in the military and government run deep. They could walk into any office in Ottawa and be greeted by name. Their argument was simple. Stick with us. We're your friends. Our jets work seamlessly with the US military. That's who you'll be flying alongside. It was a powerful message of stability and partnership, backed by the full weight of the American industrial machine. Let's talk about the money, because that's always the most important part. The Gripen's biggest selling point is its price. It's the IKEA of fighter jets. It looks good, it's clever, it doesn't cost a fortune. Headline price is significantly lower than the F-35. But the real genius is in the running costs. A fighter jet is like a supercar. Buying it is only the first part of the pain. You have to fuel it, fix it, give it new tires, except the tires are missiles and cost £1 million each. The Gripen is famously cheap to fly per hour. It sips fuel where others guzzle it. The promise is about jobs and technology. This is the heart of the deal. Saab has guaranteed final assembly and production of many components will happen in Canada. They've partnered with Canadian companies to build engine systems, advanced radar. This isn't just bolting on wings. It's about transferring the knowledge, the patents, the secret sauce. In 30 years, Canada won't just be flying Gripens. It will be able to design and build advanced aircraft. That's the promise of sovereignty. To really understand the Gripen, you need to see it next to the competition. It was a three-horse race, really. First, you have the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. This is the heavyweight champion. The technology in it is staggering. It has stealth, which means it's nearly invisible to enemy radar. It has a helmet that lets the pilot see through the floor of the plane. It's less of a jet and more of a flying supercomputer that happens to have a cannon. It's the most capable fighter in the world, but, and this is a big but, it's hideously expensive to buy and even more eye-wateringly expensive to run. It also has a reputation for being a bit temperamental. Then you have the Boeing F-18 Super Hornet. This is the safe choice, the dependable workhorse. It's a bigger, angrier, more modern version of the jets Canada is already flying. Its biggest strength is that it's a known quantity. American pilots have been flying them for years and they are rock-solid reliable. It's also a twin-engine jet, which many pilots prefer, especially when flying over vast, cold oceans or endless forests. If one engine quits, you still have another to get you home. The downside, it's not a stealth aircraft, and the basic design is getting a bit long in the tooth. It's an upgrade, but not a leap into the future. And then there's our hero, the Saab Gripen E, the Swede. It can't turn invisible like the F-35, and it only has one engine, which made some Canadian pilots nervous. But it has other tricks up its sleeve. As we sit here in late 2025, the ink on the Gripen deal is well and truly dry, but the story is far from over. The latest news is all about the groundwork. Saab Canadian Partners has officially broken ground on the new Gripen Centre in Montreal. Futuristic renderings of the Gripen Centre. This isn't just a factory, it's a massive campus for aerospace innovation. The first wave, Canadian engineers. The first wave, Canadian technicians. They've flown to Sweden, begin hands-on training in Sweden. The excitement in the Canadian aerospace industry is palpable. They are not just waiting for jets to arrive, they are learning how to build them. This is the promise of technology transfer in action. However, there has been a new development that has raised a few eyebrows. Saab Announcement Graphics CF225 Gripen designation graphic will feature a unique Canadian-designed data link and communication suite. This is fantastic for Canadian sovereignty, as it means their jets will have a highly secure, independent network. But it has also prompted some grumbling from Washington. So what does this all add up to? On the surface, it's a decision about an airplane, but underneath, it's a seismic shift in how Canada sees itself and its place in the world. For decades, Canada's defense policy has been simple: stick close to the Americans. Buying the Gripen is the single biggest step away from that policy in a generation. It's a declaration of independence. Canada will always be America's ally, but it will not automatically be its customer. It is betting it can forge its own path, building industry and partnerships on its own terms. For the Canadian military, this is a huge gamble. They have sacrificed the gold standard of stealth technology. They have sacrificed seamless integration with their most important ally. In return, they get a larger fleet of jets, cheaper to fly, more pilot training hours in the air, a jet perfectly suited for Arctic defense. For Canadian industry, this is an unmitigated triumph, not just assembling 88 jets, creating an ecosystem of innovation. Saab tech transfer will ripple through the Canadian economy. Jobs in aerospace, jobs in software, jobs in artificial intelligence, jobs in advanced materials, from consumer of foreign military tech to creator at home, could secure the industrial base for generations. So after all that, the Gripen deal, is it a stroke of genius or complete and utter madness? It's a bit of both. The genius is its pragmatism. Canada looked at the F-35 and said no, it's too much. Instead of a war-focused jet, it chose a jet for Canada, to patrol a vast territory, to operate in the cold, to be affordable enough to fly regularly, sensible. Logical. The madness is the risk. Turning away from the F-35 complicates the Canada-US military relationship. It bets on technological independence and industrial benefits over lockstep interoperability. I lean genius. It's an ambitious choice. Buying the American jet would have been easy, safe, predictable, boring. Instead, Canada invested in itself. It used the purchase to boost industry, to gain new skills, and to assert independence on the world stage. Either way, not boring.